These people rely on a book translated into English, I mean, for lack of a better expression, countless times over the last 5,000 years. And to take that as having more scientific value, being stronger evidence than everything you can observe around you in nature is really an extraordinary claim. We don't want to raise children with that sort of confused view of the world.
Good afternoon, Newtonian Methodist Church.
Good afternoon. This is Nathaniel. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good. Can I speak to the pastor, please?
May I ask who you're with, please?
I'm sorry?
Who you're with?
I'm with the Consensus Project. Again, this is Nathaniel.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
Reverend Dalton, may I help you?
Good afternoon, Reverend. This is Nathaniel. How are you?
All right.
That's good. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time this afternoon. I've just got a question about my Bible. I am a follower of Christ. I was saved about 2 years ago. But there's a word that's sticking out to me. If you've got just a couple moments to help me out, Pastor, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 6, it says, excuse me, it says, "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Pastor, do you happen to know the biblical definition of that word that I'm seeing there, firmament? It's kind of sticking out to me.
See, the midst of the waters. I happen to be looking at Genesis right now. Let the dome of the waters. What verse?
Okay, so Genesis chapter 1, verse 6.
In the midst of the waters, separate the water from the waters. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide. I'd have to look that one up. I don't know right off the top.
Okay, that's...
When I look at the translation that I use, it doesn't say God made the firmament.
If you don't mind sharing, what does yours say?
I use the New Revised Standard, and it says, "And God said, let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And then in verse 7, which also says God made the firmament, mine says dome. The word dome.
Dome.
Yeah. Let's see here. Go to my linear Bible. What this one does is looks at it from the actual translation. Yeah, there it is. Firmament, expanse, dome, something that basically is saying something that separated the waters, whether it be a dividing wall, a dome, but that's what the actual translation is.
A dome.
Yes. Or expanse.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I guess a dome would be an expanse over your head. Really, that's interesting. So, all right, so mine, and really the reason, that word really stuck out to me was because, believe it or not, I was thinking that it had to be something like firm, right? Firmament,
Yeah.
right? I was thinking that. It was just really, it piqued
More
my interest.
more like an extended surface.
Indeed. So yours says dome.
Dome.
When I read my Bible, Pastor, I definitely read it, as it is. And when I think of a dome, if yours says dome, here I think I've got, yeah. All right, so I can download that one. You said it's the New American Bible?
A New Revised Standard, NRSV.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Well, if I were to read that, the first thing that would come to mind when I read "Let there be a dome in the middle of the waters," um, I don't know how familiar you are with SpongeBob. Let's not use that one. Sandy's house. I don't know.
Yep.
But definitely like a football stadium is what I think about. Because as soon as you said dome, it's really what I thought of. So God made the dome and separated the waters. So what are those waters above the firmament or the dome? What are those waters above the dome?
I would see that as the rain waters that's in the clouds, and then you got the waters on the land, and he separated the two.
Interesting. So let's just recap. So God put a dome in the middle of the waters to separate the waters
and you can add it from a standpoint of a building which falls far short. It's more like an extended surface. Something came up that separated it. And it's probably due to the fact that we don't have all the actual words from the original Hebrew in English. So they had to come up with something as close to it as possible.
Okay. So this is a translation error.
Yes. That's what I would see it as. And mainly because we don't have all the words they do, or they didn't have all the words we do. So they have to get something as close to it as possible. I'm looking here at it's called Brown Driver Briggs. It's a study, pulls up word things. And they have the word showing it where it was used in the book of Job for one word, Ezekiel another word, and a different word in Genesis. That's saying down, so to speak. So they use the word that it's probably as close to it as possible. Let's see. There's a firmament regarded by Hebrews as a solid or supporting waters. And then it's got the passages in Genesis. Then it shows where it's used again in Psalms, Daniel again. And then again, it's used 1, 2, 3, 4 times in Genesis and twice in Psalms and once in Daniel to mean regarded it as a solid something supporting the waters above it.
Okay, so you said that the Hebrews regarded the firmament as a solid support
something
structure.
That came up that separated it.
Well, let me look into that. So you said Hebrew. Oh, that's right, because Moses.
Right.
Moses was Hebrew, right, Pastor?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you happen to have a computer nearby? Because I just typed in Hebrew Cosmology. I guess that's what it would be called. And I see what you're saying here. I see the image of, wow. If you've got a computer, Pastor, I suggest pulling this up. It's got like the pillars of the earth, then the primeval ocean, and the sun, the moon, and the stars are inside the dome. So this depiction, it looks fairly old. I mean, the drawing itself, it looks like it came out of an older book. Well, here's a clearer picture. It looks a little more modern, I guess. Wow. So this depiction is based on the Bible, but you're saying that the translations that we have today are inaccurate due to the lack of vocabulary in the ancient world?
Well, in some cases.
Interesting.
There were just words here and there that we don't have or they don't have. If you actually were to read some, you would see where it's listed that no word, there'll be a space, as they can't come up with something for that. There's that. See the dome, pillars of heaven.
Oh, you're seeing that?
Yeah.
That's interesting to say the least. Now, I also know, Pastor, that Moses, I believe that the Pharaoh's daughter adopted him, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
I wonder, and I'm just gonna type it in, Egyptian. I'm just gonna type in Egyptian cosmology and see what comes up. Okay, I don't know. You might want to type this in too. Egyptian cosmology. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but this one looks very similar. It's got this woman, like she's humped over like she's playing what's that game when you got all the polka dots on the ground and I don't know, I forgot the name of that game. But that's what she's doing, right, over this man. Did you have a chance to pull that up? Egyptian cosmology?
I'm looking at that now. Let's see. The early Egyptians believed the earth was actually a flat disk floating on a vast sea.
Holy moly. The Egyptians did?
The Egyptians did. Resting on the earth was the firmament, a solid bowl that held back the waters from above, and below the earth were other waters from the underworld. Each of these regions functioned under the control of a god. That was the early Egyptian worldview.
Wow. I'm so glad I called you, Pastor, because I probably would have never even thought to Google this stuff. That is an interesting image. It's wild. There's like another person laying on the ground. Maybe that's the earth that you're describing.
It's possible that's the way they look at it.
Wow. Well, Pastor, like I said, I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me this afternoon, and I guess study with me. I mean, that really means a lot. Your patience and your willingness to listen to me and do your best to help me out. You have actually helped me out tremendously with this new understanding of Hebrew cosmology and ancient Egyptian cosmology. That definitely does open up a new can of worms, so to speak. So, Pastor, once again, thank you so very much. I appreciate all your help.
Okay.
All right. Well, you have a blessed day, sir.
You.
All right. Bye-bye.